Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm your host Jamie, and I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. I love you guys so much, and I love it. I love you guys, okay? I don't know how many times I can say it, but it's just my favorite time of day when I post an episode and then I refresh the comments every so often during that day, and I'm like, oh, my friend texted me. Like, it's so fun to chat with you guys and have, something to chat about, like having, talking about crazy stories and then hearing your guys' opinions and all that good stuff. But if you haven't already, press the subscribe button, the like button, maybe turn on the notifications, and leave a comment either now or at the end of the episode, because I would love it, and I hope you would love it too. But, oh, I'm drinking my cake batter iced latte. It's actually supposed to be sugar cookie, but so my boyfriend made some homemade syrup, and the recipe called for cake batter, extract that we got on Amazon, and it was literally, so we got this, how, the vanilla thing comes in, a brown container usually for the vanilla extract. I've never looked at the ingredients on vanilla extract, but I should, because this cake batter extract had yellow 5 and red 40 in it, and I was like, damn, because I put a couple drops of it in my coffee yesterday before my boyfriend used it to make the syrup. I just put the extract itself in my coffee, and then I was like, wow, I'm drinking yellow 5 and red 40 right now for no reason. There's no reason for this. So we returned that to Amazon, and then we got this other one that doesn't have any dyes. It's way healthier, and it had all these things. I don't remember what they were, but the best part is that they didn't have yellow 5 and red 40 in it. So my boyfriend made the syrup last night. It's supposed to be sugar cookie syrup, but it really just tastes like cake batter, and it's really good. It's a very light flavor because it's regular sugar. So I feel like usually I drink sugar-free, which is always extra sugar tasting, even though it's fake sugar, but it's just a stronger sweetness. But I've been liking my coffee a little bit light lately and chill. The funny thing is I made cold foam and it disappeared in actually 45 seconds. So crazy. And I thought it was going to be nice and creamy cold foam, but we've had this, the Nespresso cold foam and hot foam, I don't know, maker. If you know what I'm talking about, it's the black thing, and you put it on top and then you press or you hold for cold, and it's not that good. We've had it for so long, and I always give it chances after chances after chances, and it's shit every time. It fucks me over. So screw that thing. Honestly, we should just get rid of it, because what's the best cold foam is the kind that you just buy out of a freaking bottle at the store, and it's the whipped cream type thing. That's so good. So I need to just buy some of that because I love that cold foam. But I wanted to talk about a couple things before we start the episode. So obviously, if you're not interested in hearing me yap, you can fast forward through this or click on the timestamp. But I know some people like to chat along with me, so I'm going to just chat about a couple things. I finished Love is Blind today. The fact that they take so long to put the episodes out, and honestly today's episode was so boring because it's just the weddings and stuff, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone, so I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I'm excited to see the reunion, really excited. It's very interesting how as the show goes on, as the seasons go on, less and less people get married. I feel at the beginning it was more people went through, at least with the wedding, but damn, they be losing soldiers out here. And it's kind of my anxiety would never marry someone within that short of a time frame. Truly, that would just never happen with me, because I would literally be so scared that they were going to end up turning into a completely different person after we said I do, and then it's damn, I just married this person that I have no idea who they are, because how hard is it to fake your personality for 42 days. Like, it's not that hard. Especially for some of these weirdo men out there. Like, men, some just, like, crazy men can so easily fake it for, honestly, like, months at a time, which is very scary. And, yeah, I'm scared. But, I mean, it's an experience that it would definitely be interesting. Like, I would actually like to go on just to see, like, who I would, if I could connect with someone. Like, who would I connect with? Would I connect with anyone on there? I feel like it'd be so hard through a wall to, like, connect with someone. And I just feel like, I don't know, that would be definitely my last resort. If I, like, ended up single when I was, like, because a lot of those people I think are, like, around 35, 36. If I ended up single around that time, and then first I would go through my single journey, take time to get over my ex, and then I would probably sign up for a reality dating show, for sure. And Love is Blind, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it's hard on reality television because a lot of them, you, like, age out of them, because in the Bachelor world, I feel like the oldest, I don't know what's I mean, I guess, like, Claire Crawley was the Bachelorette, and she's, like, in her 40s, but, like, that was, like, crazy. It's like, oh my god, she's, like, the oldest Bachelorette, and it's just crazy. Like, I would never want to be called the oldest Bachelorette. Like, please, for the love of God, that's not old. I mean, it's the oldest Bachelorette, but, like, it's not old. So that would just shoot my confidence down. I'm 26 years old, and I'm like, oh, I'm getting so old. Like, I get so scared every day, and it's like, for the past 3 years, I've been thinking about how old I'm getting, and it's like I can't even enjoy my youth because I'm just worried about getting old. And let me know if you're older, like, than me, say in your 30s, and you watch this and you are, like, comfortable after, because I hear that, like, once you turn 30 and you're in your 30s, it's like a whole different world. You just feel so much more secure with yourself, and I hope that's the truth. I do, because I obviously don't think 30s is old, and I don't think 40s is old, but it's so societally normal to call women in their 30s and 40s old, when in reality, it's really not. But it's like, so it's actually so annoying, and I wish this would change, but I just feel like it's never going to change. But, like, once women hit 30, it's everyone thinks that you're old. It's like, you're literally 30. You're not, I mean, you're a third of the way through your life if you make it to, like, 90, which I feel like I could make it to 90. I don't know if I want to make it to 90. But anyways, so yeah, that's it for Love is Blind. And I also wanted to follow up on the Brianna chicken fry stuff, if you were listening to me talking about it yesterday, if you cared at all. But I've been seeing so many, this has, like, actually been making me really angry lately, because I've just been, like, so shocked by the internet and how cruel it's gotten over the years. Like, it's truly gotten so much worse. And there's obviously always been hate on the internet, but, like, I think with TikTok, it's become so much more popular to hate on someone and just dogpile on someone. And it's really sad to me that I understand that people, like, obviously disagree with her take, me being one of them. I talked about that in an episode with the Menendez brothers. Free them, by the way. And then she said something about Grace and, like, downplaying her sexual assault or something. And then everyone's like, she's a horrible person. She's a horrible person. Like, just because you may say a couple bad takes that are recorded on camera when you're talking to your friend does not make you a bad person. Yeah, maybe you said some bad things. That doesn't mean that you're a bad person. Like, tell me, if I was recording every conversation you were having with your best and closest friend of all time, you would say something stupid that everyone would hate, and then the whole internet would be in an uproar. Like, people act so innocent, and it's like, tell me you be talking shit about people. I be talking shit about people. So, just let me know. Yeah, no one's perfect, and it's just crazy to me that people are dogpiling on her when she's going through a breakup, which is so painful to begin with, especially when you really love this person and you actually see a future with them. Like, breakups are genuinely, like, it makes you feel like you're dying. Like, you're never gonna be, like, okay again, which obviously is not the truth, and you always figure that out through a breakup, which is, it's honestly, like, a very, like, it's a beautiful thing. Sorry, I have, like, a hair in my nose. It's a beautiful thing because you get to grow through all of that pain, and if you really deal with it in the best way, like, just take time to yourself and, you know, do things that you love, hang out with friends, go on walks, go on your exercise journey. Like, you can truly take advantage of a breakup, and it can have you come out of the other side like such a better person, which is really a beautiful thing. But obviously in the beginning, it's like you feel like you're actually passing away. And I truly thought I was passing away for the first probably couple weeks. Like, it was probably a good 2 weeks that I, like, barely could eat. Like, I wasn't hungry at all. I had no appetite. I couldn't get anything down. Like, I would eat like 100 calories and force something down my throat. And then, like, even Taco Bell was gross to me, which, if you know me, you know I love Taco Bell, and I would never pass up a chance to eat Taco Bell. But I would get Taco Bell and I would be like, I don't even want any of this. I would take a bite and I'd be like, I can't do it. Like, I feel like I'm going to throw up. So yeah, breakups are terrible. I wish I had this podcast when I was going through my breakup, because the lore I could have been, like, sharing with you guys and like talking to you guys about would have been so fun, because I feel like so much stuff happened during that time, which I obviously wouldn't say, like, everything, just because I definitely would want to keep some things private for the sake of, like, people in my life. But I feel like I was doing so much at that time and going so crazy that I would probably have so many stories. Like, and then obviously I could tell so many stories, but now it's like, I'd have to think of stories that were happening. I would literally, you guys could witness in real time me getting through my breakup and then getting back together with my ex. Like, oh, that's, like, so fun to me. I love watching a girl after a breakup and just seeing her journey through her breakup. That's, like, the most fun thing to watch, and you just feel so connected to that person, and I love to, like, watch them just be a bad bitch, like, grow into the baddest bitch ever. And I truly think I did that. I did. But then I got back into my relationship, and I kind of stopped, like, everything that I was doing. Like, I stopped working out, which I'm obviously back on my workout grind again. But yeah, which is really nice. I've been loving working out lately. Being in the routine of it makes you feel like, oh, like, I really want to exercise today, because I know that it makes me feel so good. And you just remember how good it makes you feel. So it's like, you don't have, like, as many excuses. Whereas if you take such a long break, it's like, ugh, what's the point? I'm just going to work out for one day and then I'm not going to work out again, you know? So once you get into the routine of it, it just feels so nice. I love it. And I did cancel my yoga membership, but I had to give 30 days. So in November 18th will be my last day at this yoga studio. But I'm wanting to go to, like, this other gym that's near me that offers a bunch of different classes, and it's like $50 cheaper than my yoga studio, but it offers yoga, it has, like, Pilates probably for extra, and then, like, other workout classes and stuff, which I feel like would be a better deal, because I'm kind of getting tired of the repetitiveness of my yoga studio, just, like, doing the same thing every single time I go there. And I only like a couple of the classes. Like, I only truly like a couple of the classes and teachers. So I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of becoming a waste of money, because it's like $150 a month, which to me, that's a lot of money, like, for a yoga. I mean, yoga is a lot of money, but to, like, work out and stuff, I feel like that's a lot of money, because you can get a gym membership for, like, $15. But I just like to work out with people and, like, in groups. It just makes me more motivated and it makes me enjoy it more. So yeah, but that is all that I have for you today. And if you ever want to watch this on Spotify, the link is below. Or if you just want to follow me, just in case in the future you want to listen to me on Spotify or watch me. I actually put the videos on there, on most of them. And also we have a subreddit if you want to join the subreddit, linked below. And you can post, cross-post, do whatever you want, comment on other people's posts, whatever you want. It's a safe space. Okay, so we are going to get started with our first story time. Story time. I have to, I don't think I pulled that espresso shot very well because it's a little bit like more bitter than usual. The title is, Am I the asshole for leaving my partner and refusing to be involved in any way, shape, or form after they stopped taking the pill and pierced our condoms to have a child? Yikes. Trigger warning, essay, and stealthing, which I actually don't know what stealthing means, but I'm sure I'll find out. Okay. First post. My partner has been on the pill throughout our relationship, and we've been in a bit of a battle these past few weeks over having children. I categorically said that I don't want them and started using condoms for double protection. This morning, she told me that she's pregnant, and I asked how this could happen when we'd been so careful. She admitted to coming off the pill and piercing through the condoms that we have stored. I've said that I don't want this and that I'm not up for marrying into a relationship based on lies. She says she's keeping it and has already told her friends, as, according to her, she'd done the test 8 weeks ago and was keeping it quiet in the hopes that I'd change my mind. I have no idea what to do here. I'm in England and I'm 29. Update. Firstly, thanks so much for all of your comments. I didn't expect this to blow up quite so much as it did. Secondly, I want to get a few things straight as people seem to be struggling with timelines. My partner and I were due to get married in a few short weeks. We have had many long and involved conversations during our relationship about us wanting to remain a child-free family over the years that we've been together. Around 2 to 3 months ago, they started to appear to change their mind, which I feel insecure and unhappy about as it's not something that I want from life, which is why I'd booked a vasectomy through NHS. I cannot afford to go private as money is very tight. Again, another reason I do not want children. B, she admitted to tampering with condoms and said that she'd come off the pill several weeks ago. At that point, prior to her saying that kids might be an option for her, we were still having sex, and I was under the impression that we were protected as she was on the pill. I have made no secret about how I do not want kids, and she's fully aware of my reasons behind that, which I do not have to share with strangers on the internet. C, she has shown me a test, and it confirms that she's pregnant. I have asked that she get an abortion. She has refused, and I feel the trust has gone completely from our relationship. We are now in the process of canceling the engagement, which she isn't happy with at all, and has said that I'm ruining her life. Now, for those people telling me to go to therapy, man up, or that I'm lying, it's great that you disagree with me, but I'd never tell you to attend therapy if your worldview was different from mine. That I should be at fault after my partner has lied to me, apparently for months, and that I'm a liar. Here's a few other things for you. 1, no, I do not like kids, and I don't like entitled parents. I see it same as disliking dogs, cats, or birds. That's my opinion. Not for everyone, and not all people have to tolerate your madness. My disinterest and lack of care towards them is one of the many reasons why it would be idiotic for me to be a father. Those calling bullshit on the 21 plus wedding venue thing are just wrong. It's a stipulation of the venue we chose, nothing more and nothing less. The plane thing happened several years ago. The smoking area fiasco occurred over a year ago. Colleagues bringing their newborns into work is a continued pain and just really gets my goat. Just like some people don't like Susan to eat her tuna mayo baguette, it shows a complete and utter lack of etiquette and thought by parents who are coming out in their droves to tell me how wrong I am about their decision. We'll provide updates as when I get through all the comments. Be kind, people. Okay. Don't bite me. Do not bite me. Because you just bit me. Update 2. I spoke to a lawyer earlier today who has advised that, as we're not married, I won't technically be added to the birth certificate. Woohoo! My ex-partner can still claim that I'm the biological father, but without my consent to a DNA test, it's unlikely to be able to prove it, unless it's ordered by the court. But as I've been coerced into this My lawyer thinks my ex-partner and family will back down, as I have evidence. The lawyer advised that I don't waive my parental rights yet, as it would indicate that I still believe the fetus could be mine, so I just have to bide my time and leave the country till this all blows over. The lawyer also suggested that I go self-employed, but didn't divulge the specifics. My ex-partner has admitted to coming off birth control and piercing the comments, which she said she'd done around 3 months ago, as she knew I was due to get a vasectomy earlier in the next week and thought that I'd change my mind. She has refused to have an abortion, which is her right, and I've refused any involvement. Has anyone been through this before and managed not to pay out? I think I've got a pretty good case. There's a lot of updates. Oh my god, buddy, stop. I'm scared of you right now. Stop. I'm over it. Update 3. My ex-partner is going to keep the baby. She wants me to be involved in her life and says she doesn't want to lose me over something like this. A life-changing, unwanted event? Yeah, sure. Haha. I have said that I will be having nothing to do with this mistake and that all my responsibility now lies with her and her family. She has been blocked from using any form of mobile communication with me, and I have now been sent 3 letters by her to my parents' house. The last letter included a scan of the embryo and a note requesting that I submit a DNA sample. The scan has confirmed that she is 13 to 14 weeks pregnant, which means that she kept this hidden for a good chunk of time. She has said that she will not have an abortion, as this is what she's always wanted, and that she will be taking me to court if I don't offer to help. The more time that goes on, the more she makes this an awful situation, the more I hate her. I refused the DNA test and sent her screenshots, on my lawyer's advice, of the conversation where she admitted to coming off the pill and piercing condoms in an attempt to get pregnant. She has now gone quiet until this morning. She is pursuing legal action against me. My family and I are looking for... my family... She is pursuing legal action against me, my family, and is looking for a private arrangement of child support. The amount she wants for this bag of cells is triple the recommended amount via the government, and is one of the reasons she is trying to get me to admit that it's my DNA in that embryo so that can keep me. I don't get that. She is trying to get me to admit that it's my DNA in that embryo. I have just lost my job. I have no savings. This is going to ruin me, my life, and the only way out that I can think of is just to run off a cliff and hope for the best. I hate this. Okay, don't do that, please. All right, so there's another update, but I'm going to read these comments that are posted in this post because this was all posted into one post. And it says, OOP on having the conversation with his partner about children. We did have that conversation 8 years ago. She changed the rules. She and I agreed no kids 8 years ago. She then lied about birth control and put holes in the condoms we used to have sex. How the F is that me causing the problem? You sound like a delightful chap. She was my partner. Now she isn't. Also, dude, regardless of where we are in our relationship, there's always respect for the women, not girls, that I am with. I would not call my partner my girlfriend because I don't like the term. As I mentioned in my post, we had the conversation 8 years ago, and as I've mentioned in other posts asking for advice, we've always spoken about being a child-free couple. My point here, if you read it with your peepers focused on the words, is that she made the decision to go off birth control without telling me at some point. I don't know when, and after disagreeing on children ahead of us getting married, I started to use condoms when we had sex under the impression that this would be a double protection, when it was actually no protection at all. So, in answer to your final quip, it's not gone very well, but I don't need someone like you to say this sort of mad shit. OOP on dealing with vasectomy, he had to have a legal reason for needing one. He said, I have visited my GP for a referral 3 times, 24, 26, and 29. The first times I was denied due to my age and the idea that I might change my mind. Average waiting time, they said, can be 6 to 9 months, but I don't know if that's a deterrent for men, as I was scheduled for my procedure 3 months after my approval. I am still going ahead with it. And now there's an update as of October 16th. So... update, why did I say it like that? Update 4. My ex's parents have now gotten involved and have lumbered me with a court-ordered DNA test or the option to lay child support and have no involvement. I have dug my heels in and said that everything she has done will constitute involvement from the police and am trying to avoid legal legal battles as I have no money or means to support myself right now, let alone a child I never ever wanted. My parents are now asking me to reconsider my position. And I want to scream every time they bring it up, as they're trying to find a positive and have said it might be the best thing to ever happen to me, and it makes me physically sick every time I think about my life being ruined over someone else's deception. I cannot sleep, I cannot focus, I'm so scared. I have now had a vasectomy. What the fuck is wrong with this girl? It's like she's mentally ill. Okay, I understand that it's hard to leave your partner when you love them and they don't want the same things as you. And you think, maybe I can get him to change his mind. But this is such a life-altering decision. And to coerce someone or trick someone into having a kid with you is so irresponsible. So irresponsible. Why don't you just break up with your boyfriend because he doesn't want to have kids, and he has told you that for the past 8 years that he doesn't want to have kids, so you need to accept that he doesn't want to have kids, and although he may be the person you want to have kids with at this point, he doesn't want to. So I'm sorry, but you're going to have to take your selfish little self and break up with him. Go find a new partner that will want to have kids with you. Don't trick someone into having kids with you, especially when they don't want to have kids, period, with anyone. And he doesn't seem like he's going to be changing his mind anytime soon. His brain is fully developed. He is 29 years old? He's 29 years old. Like, I think he can make his own decisions, okay? Like, I understand that some people may change their mind, you know, when you're young and you think, like, I didn't know what I was going to do. At 20, I was like, I don't know. I might not have kids. Like, at that point, I was like, I might not. And over the years, as I've gotten older, as my brain has developed, my frontal lobe has, you know, finished cooking in there, I have realized that I do want kids. Maybe even a lot of them. But regardless, like, even if someone could change their mind, that's for them to decide. And you cannot change their whole entire world because that's something that you want. Like, if you want children, you can go have children with someone else. Or if you really want children by yourself, you can get a sperm donor. Okay? I mean, I feel so bad for this guy, but, like, hopefully the court will be on his side. Obviously, I know that, I don't know how it is in England, but I feel like here they definitely want the guy to pay child support. But it's like, if that's the case, if she, which I obviously believe him, if she pierced the condom and stopped taking birth control, he has proof of that on message, that I think he does not need to have any responsibility for this child. I don't think he should have to pay child support. I don't think that he should have to be in this kid's life. I don't. I just don't think that he didn't want it. He doesn't want it. He isn't going to change his mind. And that's that. Like, I don't understand. Why is it so hard for this woman to understand? Some of the top comments. OOP keeps threatening to involve the police because she pierced his condoms. Why doesn't he just do it? Because until she went forward with getting the court to order a DNA test, that would be an admission that the child is potentially his. The implied threat to report was intended to make her reluctant to force the child support issue, though I suspect explicitly making that threat would be an independent crime on OOP's part. Now that she's forced the issue, though, I don't see a downside to reporting the crime. A downside being that because he's a male victim, he's not taken seriously. Some of our police in the UK aren't great across the board with this sort of thing, whether the victim is a man or a woman. Hopefully he has some hard evidence like a text message or recording of her admitting it, and it wasn't just an in-person conversation they had. Otherwise, it just becomes a he said, she said in court. Sadly, text messages aren't hard evidence as they can claim someone else wrote them. Oh, that's terrible. I'm wondering if he's getting really terrible advice from his attorney. For example, the advice to go self-employed to presumably reduce child support exposure is terribly. An annoyed judge might still set an amount based on the salary he's capable of earning, and even if that doesn't happen, foregoing 18 years of income in his prime earning years is going to leave him much worse financially off than any child support arrangement possibly could. He should get a second lawyer's opinion, to be honest, although he says he has no money at all, so I wonder if this lawyer is just a friend or his family who has law experience or something. I feel like also leaving the country is not good. That doesn't seem like good advice. Leave the country? That's like the one thing. I mean, it's not like he committed a crime, but like that's the one thing they tell you not to do if like you're in some type of legal situation. So I'm not sure who this lawyer is, but that doesn't seem like the best advice, to be honest. Okay. My stomach is starting to churn right now. Ooh, it feels like I ate hot Cheetos, but I didn't. Usually this is the feeling I get after, like the day after I eat hot Cheetos, and it's like a churning feeling. Okay, next story. Am I the asshole for telling my brother he betrayed mom, so why would he get half of everything? My mom died a few months ago, and she left my brother, who is in his 40s, some money, but I got most of what she owned. Some background to explain why mom did this and why my brother is angry. My mom was an only child for 16 years, and she always wanted to get involved in her dad's business, but he didn't want a girl/woman taking over the family business. He was determined to have a son one way or another, and even though mom was prepared to leave school and work for him, by the time her brother came along, he made it very clear that even if there was no son, he would never let her work for him and take over one day. He would rather see the business close. This destroyed my mom. She loved her parents and felt so rejected. Mom's dad didn't get his way, however, because her brother wanted nothing to do with the business and refused to even work for him, let alone take over. My mom was estranged from her dad for many years because her dad made it painfully clear to her that he didn't value a daughter and never would, so mom stepped back. But when he heard mom had a son, he reached out, and when that didn't work, he waited until my brother was 18, and he offered him a job and the chance to run the family business. My mom was shocked, and my brother told her she better not tell him not to accept, because he didn't like the fact she kept us from our grandfather and prevented him running the business with the estrangement. Mom and him had a talk. She said she did not want him to grow up with the same disregard for women as her dad. He basically told her to go fuck herself, and he went to work for her dad. Years passed, and he regretted the strain between him and mom, and dad was disgusted with him too. He reached out after dad died and apologized and told mom he loved her, but things were never the same, and he talked about her dad like he was some amazing hero of a guy, which was difficult for my mom. So apparently when my mom made her will, she decided that I should get the most and my brother should get something but not an equal share, given he had the business and seemed perfectly okay with her being shut out of it for being born the wrong sex. My brother is hurt and angry about this now that she's gone. He asked me how she could have done this and why I'm not angry. I told him he betrayed mom, so why would he get half? He tried to say he didn't, but I told him he went to work for dad anyway, and then basically told her to go F herself, and even when they reconciled, he acted like the father who treated her like shit was some amazing person who needed his praises sang all the time. He said I was shitting on him for no real reason. Am I the asshole? No, I mean, that's an obvious, no, because your mom wrote you in the will for this stuff, so you get that stuff. And also, that is his consequence to suffer. Sorry, you knew what you were doing in the time that your mom was not, happy with that. And she obviously was estranged from her dad, and she obviously told him the reasons that she was, which any person would think that's fucked up of that dad to do that and say, well, you're a girl, so I don't value you. That's very messed up. So, yeah, and then you not, talking to your mom for a while and then being coming back and being like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, but also your dad is amazing. The one dad who, emotionally abused you is so amazing. So, no, you're not the asshole. And it sounds like your brother is an asshole, so. And it sounds like he's taking after this grandpa that you have, so. Unless he's gonna like, and also it shows how mature he is, that he thinks he has a right to be hurt and angry about this. You know? Like, how about just accept that you weren't the best person while your mother was alive, which is why she decided to not write you as much in the will as your sister, who was actually there for your mom and showed your mom love. Some of the top comments: not the asshole, he's not entitled to more than your mom decided to leave him, and considering the state of the relationship and how he insisted on praising a man who mistreated her, it's pure generosity on her part that she left him anything. Or maybe because certain areas have laws that you can't sue for more of the estate if you were left a certain portion. R.I.P. to your mom. I hope your brother can one day realize how much his actions hurt her. I'd wish only daughters for him, but that would be mean to the potential daughters. I hope he's sterile. Bingo. Glad you went with sterile, so there's no chance. Not very little. Just straight up no chance. I hope he gets erectile dysfunction and finds out while superhero grandpa is alive to know he lost his daughter, granddaughter, and business for nothing. Also, hope OOP is way more successful than her brother. In the UK, you can indeed sue if your parents have a will that excludes you. There was a famous case a couple of years ago where a mother tried giving all her money to 3 charities to spite her daughter. The daughter sued the charities and won. I think that is so stupid. I think that whatever is in your will, I think it should be illegal to sue against that. Because why are you trying to fight with a dead person? They can't even be there to fight for themselves. So let the will be concrete and move on with your lives. If I left my estate, like if I were rich and I left my estate to, say, my mom and I don't know, anyone, I don't know, I don't really not get along with anyone in my family, but I don't know, let's say someone sues her to try to get more of my estate, but I'm like, girl, I didn't put you in my will for a reason. I would be pissed. I'd be rolling in my grave. I would be haunting that person, because why are you going to go against what I want with what I worked for my life? And I wanted my stuff to go to this person, and that's why I made a legal document telling people what to do after I died, and you're going to sue? Shame on you. And shame on those courts, because you should never, ever, ever go against what a dead person wants to do with their stuff. Like, sorry, I don't care if you're trying to spite someone, okay? That's what you want to do with your money? You want to go donate it to 3 charities? Slay, queen. Go off, queen. Like, go do it and then die, and then that girl is going to have to accept it. But apparently she won, which is just so sad. I think if you don't exclude, it's a lot harder to challenge. That's why people will leave $10 to someone specifically, so they can't claim they were forgotten and challenge getting nothing. You shouldn't have to be, I didn't forget you. I'm writing my will for when I die. Trust, I didn't forget you. I just didn't put you in there. Like, I don't understand why that's even a thing. It's so annoying. Just let the will be the will and move on with your life, you greedy little bitch. People are so greedy and so entitled. Just accept that maybe you weren't the best person, or you didn't treat them the best and they didn't want to leave you anything. And then maybe learn from that and be a better human after. Sorry. Ugh, I have so much hair on me because Frankie was bothering me. He always does that. And he'll I want to pet him, but then he'll start biting my leg and biting my feet. And sometimes he doesn't realize that, he's fine. Usually it's just a love bite. But then sometimes he doesn't realize, if I'm wearing clothes, I don't think he realizes that's my leg. And he'll do what a dog does with a toy. He'll bite it and shake his head around like it's prey to him. And I'm like, sir, that's my leg. It's not a little bunny rabbit on the side of the road. That's literally my leg. The leg of the person that feeds you, houses you, and cleans your shit and piss from the litter box. So, please, be respectful. Okay, next story. Am I the asshole? My mom feels like my sister should have married my husband instead of me. I am upset at my mom and my sister because of something my mother said, but everyone around me feels that I'm overreacting. Please be brutally honest in telling me if I'm being insecure or if my mom and my husband are wrong in this. Let me give you a little bit of backstory. My husband, James, 34 male, and I, 29 female, were neighbors growing up. My sister, Fran, 34 female, was in the same grade as my husband growing up. Everyone knew my sister in school because she is very smart and beautiful. James had a huge crush on her, and all of us knew about it. He asked her out for senior prom, and Fran shot him down in front of the whole school. They still remained friends, but he moved to a different state for college, and we didn't hear much from him, except to see him when he came back for holidays. James and I were never friends growing up. Since I was in middle school when this happened, in fact, I was much younger than both of them, and they would actively avoid me or involving me in their hangouts and activities. I went to a good college and got my first job in the same city as James. My mom suggested that I should contact James since I didn't know anyone there. We became friends, and 3 years later, we got married. We both have high-paying jobs, and we love our life. We moved back to our hometown during COVID as James' mom had some health issues and our jobs allowed us to work remotely. Fran also had a pretty good life. She married when she was 23 and her husband was pretty well off. 2 years ago, Fran discovered that he was cheating on her for almost the entire duration of their marriage with multiple partners, and she decided to break things off. Fran moved back in with my mom. She had not worked for the entire duration of their marriage and was expecting to gain significant alimony from the divorce. However, due to complications regarding a prenup, she barely got anything and is struggling financially. She got a job but is barely able to afford her own place and continues living with my mom. James and I were very supportive of her during the whole process. Since James and Fran were friends growing up, they both have a special bond. They have their inside jokes and stories, and sometimes I feel like a third wheel when we all meet. However, James keeps his distance and has never given me any reason to believe that he has lingering feelings for her. Fran, on the other hand, constantly visits us, like 2 to 3 times a week, and ends up staying for dinner and sleeping in our guest room. I don't mind her coming over, but I do not like the fact that she talks more to James than me. Also, she always comes over when I'm not home, and I often find them sitting next to each other on the sofa and watching TV when I get home. It sort of reminds me of my childhood, where I was locked out of our basement when Fran had friends over, and I would feel left out. Fran is also too comfortable around James and walks around the house in just a towel after her shower when James is around, or sleeps in her underwear in the guest room without locking the door. I have voiced my concerns to her, but she says that we're family and she does not care. I have also voiced my concerns to James, and he does make efforts now to explain stories and inside jokes if Fran makes them. The main issue happened this weekend. I was hanging out with my mom and Fran last weekend, and Fran was recollecting stories about how James would do her homework and do chores for her growing up. She said he was so much in love with me, and I felt guilty taking advantage of him. My mom jokingly said to her that I wish you had the wits to marry James than your loser husband, and you would not have been in this situation. Fran smiled after hearing that and nodded, but I was hurt by the comment. I protested to my mom that James is my husband, and I don't want her to make such comments about him. My mom doubled down and said that she feels like it because both James and I are high earners, while Fran is struggling. So it would make sense if Fran was married to James, and I would be fine since I don't need James to support me financially. She kept on saying that it was a hypothetical and just wants both of her daughters to be happy. I did not like those comments and told them to not speak like that about James and my marriage in general. Fran chimed in and told me that I should not take the comments so personally, and I'm being sensitive. However, I had a fight with both of them, and I left. When I came home and told James, he also sided with my mom and Fran and told me that her mom just made a harmless joke. I also raised the issue of Fran's behavior around our house, and he told me that this is between me and my sister, and he is not going to tell Fran about what she can or cannot wear in our house. However, I'm just feeling really bad since the situation, and despite everyone apologizing to me, things just don't feel right. Am I wrong here in acting the way I did, or does everyone else have a point and I should be more secure about my relationship with James? Okay, I'm going to say a couple things. You should be more secure with your relationship with James because it doesn't even sound like he's interested in this sister anyways. Like, he'd be completely fine if she weren't to come over. So I think if you're uncomfortable, your feelings are valid, and you can tell your sister that she can't come over as much. Maybe set some boundaries with her. Every once in a while you can come over, but I don't really want you to come over. That's totally fine. And then, third of all, that mom shouldn't have made that comment. And also to say that you don't need James because you're not financially, so like you don't need him to financially support him or support you. That's not actually why people get married. Did you know? Like, actually, some people get married because they love each other, not because they need financial support from a man. It's not the 50s. It's not like, I'm confused about why your brain is like that. Also, your daughter, Fran, chose that man. She chose that cheater man. Like, I'm not saying it's her fault that she got cheated on, but what? It's not this other girl's fault that her sister got cheated on either. So I don't really understand why you guys it sounds like this girl is like getting a little bit of the shit end of the stick, but I do totally understand. I don't think James should be the one to be saying like you need to stop wearing underwear and towels around the house. Like, I think that would be inappropriate. So yeah, she just needs to set some boundaries with her family, and then she needs to be more secure with her relationship with James. And hopefully, I'm not going to regret saying this, because God forbid James actually is cheating on her with her sister. But it seems like he loves this girl and just is friends with like her sister, and they go way back, so they get along well, which is good because you obviously want someone that gets along well with your family. And maybe your sister has different intentions. I don't know, because we're obviously only hearing some of the story, but there is an update, so we're going to read it. Update. Am I the asshole? My mom feels like my sister should have married my husband instead of me. The comments really made me paranoid, and I did see everyone's point that James may just have married me because he has a crush on Fran. This really shot up my anxiety, and I started to snoop around. My husband literally makes me check his phone for new messages when he's not around, so I knew there was nothing to hide there. However, I was spooked by how my sister always knows when I'm not home, and why James and Fran are always sitting on the same couch when I come home. I tried talking to my husband, and he told me that my feelings were valid. However, he also said that Fran is going through a tough time and refused to say anything bad about my mom and Fran. Last Friday, I went to the gym as usual in the evening, and when I came home, Fran was sitting in the living room while James was cooking dinner. I got a bit angry and asked her what she's doing here. She said she had no plans for the night, and she came to hang out with us. It really annoyed me, and I told her that I wanted to spend a quiet weekend with my husband, and if she could come some other time. She could see that I was upset. She started saying how our mom was just being silly, and I need to let it go. It was just a joke. I told her I didn't find it funny, and we got into a fight. She said that I am always an insecure, annoying kid, and no wonder no one liked me. It really hurt me, but James stepped in and told Fran that she needs to leave. I have never seen James be so forceful with Fran. Fran muttered some unpleasant things to James and then left. I was in tears by the end of the whole thing, and James was consoling me. I was really upset and spent the night in our room alone. In the morning, I prepared notes on all the things I wanted to ask James. Your comments really helped me get my thoughts straight. I know I was being insecure, but after reading the comments, I really started questioning if James really married me for me, or just because I was Fran's sister and looks like her. People called me Dollar Store Fran in high school. James and I had a long conversation, and I told him my anxieties and insecurities, and I told him how it makes me feel that he spends so much time with Fran when she visits us, and they have their own inside jokes. I asked him if he still has feelings for her. He was calm and smiling the whole time. He told me that he will tell me the truth, but does not want me to hate him for it later. He said that he knows Fran used him all through their days in school because she knew he liked her. When he went to college, Fran still tried to keep in touch with him, but putting distance between them made him realize how badly she treated him, and he decided to cut contact with her so that he could work on himself. That was the reason he rarely visited us when he used to come home for holidays and stopped being friends with Fran. I told him that it bothered me that he chose Fran before me and ignored me during our childhood. That was the reason I always had that doubt if I was his second choice. He said that I was 13 when he went to college, and if he would have liked me instead of Fran at that age, we would be having a different problem. He told me that when I contacted him, he thought that I must be like Fran and was not very enthusiastic to meet me. However, after we hung out for a few times, he realized I'm nothing like Fran. We soon became close, started dating, and got married after a few years. He told me that Fran was married by then, and he saw that I was always putting Fran on a pedestal and would get jealous when Fran posted vacation pictures or the new shiny things her husband bought for her. That was the reason he never told me that he does not like hanging around Fran, as he feels that for me. Fran was always the North Star. What? As he feels that for me, Fran was always the North Star. He told me that he has always kept his distance from Fran, and she was a non-issue since we would only meet her a few times every year. However, after her divorce, he did not know how to act. He said that he was grateful to me for uprooting our lives and moving back to our hometown for his mom's health. He wanted to do the same and take care of my family. When Fran got divorced, he supported her in every way he could for me, even though he realized it meant spending a lot of time with her and listening to her bring up all the memories from high school that he wants to forget. I told him it bothered me that Fran came to our house as often as she does, and generally in evenings when I go to the gym. He told me that he also finds it odd that she knows my gym routine and always comes on evenings when I'm not home. However, he told me that he always kept his distance from her, and if she did anything that would raise an alarm, he would have told me immediately. She just makes him watch all the movies or TV shows they watched growing up and gossips endlessly about their high school friends. He told me I need to trust him, and if I want to be the bad guy and ask Fran to not visit us often, he can do that for me. However, he knows that I will eventually make up with my mom and Fran and does not want to blame him for being mean to Fran. However, he told me he will not tell Fran what to wear around the house, as it would be creepy if it came from him. I felt that I got all of the reassurance that I needed from James, and I will never doubt how amazing of a husband he has been. My mom and Fran visited us on Sunday, and my mom profusely apologized to me. She told me she does not want me to feel bad for her comment, and she would never wish anything bad on my marriage. She meant to say that James was a great guy, and she hopes Fran can find someone like him one day. Fran was a bit sour, but apologized to us for all the name-calling on Friday and told us that it's just her hormones. She said that she likes hanging out with her sister and her best friend, and hence she comes to our house. I told her that she's welcome to come anytime she wants, but to call ahead of time in case James and I have plans for the evening, and she agreed. I really want to move past this issue, but I do want to put some firm boundaries on when Fran can come to our house and hang out with James alone, as I know it bothers him too. Overall, I feel things are good now. I am glad my worst fears did not come true, but I do feel I need some therapy in order to deal with my insecurities. Slay. All is well in the world. That's great news. And your husband sounds like a great guy, so I'm very happy that didn't end in the way that I thought it might have ended, because Reddit usually goes the opposite way. Like, I was expecting it to be like, so you guys were right. He's cheating on me with my sister, which is usually how it goes. But the thing to me that's crazy is that she said all these people on her original post were leaving comments saying that, like, basically giving her a reason to be insecure, which is not what I got from that story at all. I got that she shouldn't be insecure about that, because it doesn't seem like he wanted anything like that with Fran. And it seemed like he was just being friendly. She obviously is going through a hard time. He doesn't want to be mean to her, which I would also want my husband to do. I wouldn't want my husband to be mean to my sister. And it just sounds like they needed to communicate things way earlier than they did. And then the mom, obviously, I'm glad she apologized, because that comment was definitely out of pocket and she could have worded it way better. It sounds like it sounded like she favors Fran, and she's like, I wish that you would have married him, because, like, you're the better sister and you deserve him. Like, that's kind of how it sounded to me, which I would take it that way too, and I would also be hurt if my mom said that. If my mom said that, I would be livid at my mom. I'd be like, what is wrong with you, girl? Like, because she would never say something like that, and that would be so out of character for my mom. But I definitely agree. You need to put firm boundaries. And if you don't want her to come over, don't feel bad for saying no. No is a complete sentence. You can say no. I wouldn't, I mean, I would love to hang out. Like, I would love to have my sister be coming over and stuff, and I would love to have, like, more family, because obviously I don't live by my family, and I would love that. It'd be so great. But obviously, if it's, like, coming to the point where it's getting annoying, because maybe sometimes you don't feel like interacting, and maybe sometimes you just want to come home to a quiet house with your husband, where you don't really have to talk all that much, because you're comfortable with your husband. You don't really have to interact. You can just chill and be comfortable in the safety of your own home. And if someone's just constantly coming over without telling you, even though it's your sister, it's still like, okay, you can at least, say, hey, can I come over? You don't have to make it a big deal, but it's like, don't just welcome yourself into my house. It can work different for every family. Obviously, some people would be fine with that, like just having their sister come over whenever she wanted, but some people aren't okay with that, and that is totally okay. I think I I love having family over, but I definitely would love to know ahead of time, especially because I would like, oh my god, my throat just got so itchy. I would like to clean my house before they came over, because you would hate to have your boyfriend's mom walk into the bathroom when your vibrator is sitting on the counter. You would hate for that to happen. You would really hate it. So, coming from personal experience. But, yeah, and then realizing after the fact. But we do have a guest bathroom. And it's always clean and stocked that anyone can use. But yeah, so I would hate for that to happen. Like, I don't, obviously family is always like welcome in my house, and I love like hanging out with family, but definitely want to know ahead of time, mostly for the fact that I would like to clean, because I don't like people, even though we're not clean freaks, we're not dirty, but we like, one day goes by and we cleaned, and then one day goes by and it's like everything's back to a mess. So then we have to clean like heavily again, or maybe we wait like 2 days, and then, if someone came over, it'd be so messy, even though it's just from one day of living. But I don't know, I just would like to have everything, and I like to be in the know, and I like to be in control of things a lot of time. I also am a big planner, and I don't love spontaneity that much. Depends what we're doing, but 90% of the time I don't love spontaneity. I like to be having a plan, and yeah, because that just like reduces the amount that I'm going to stress about things. Because if I'm just like, oh, do this, and then it's like we have to go, then I'm thinking about all these things that I have to worry about, So yeah, slay queen, pussy boss. We love that. I guess I should read some of these comments. Someone said, okay, but if your sister lives in the same town as you, then she doesn't need to have sleepovers. Send her ass home and revise that she can come over anytime but call and plan a visit instead. And if she won't leave or can't drive, put the woman in an Uber. Shuffle her out the front door and lock it. Tell her to let you know she's home safe. She's a grown-ass adult woman. Getting herself home in an Uber, even in the dark, isn't an unreasonable or unsafe expectation. Honestly, reading this, I think the whole family needs to see Fran significantly less. OP and her husband sound tired of Fran's overbearing bullshit. OP, tell Fran you will have scheduled time to see her, but you and your husband need your privacy and your personal space. Having unannounced guests is just not fun at a certain point in your life. Also, the way that she was like, I just like to hang out with my sister and my best friend. Like, it's weird that you're saying my best friend when he doesn't really see you the same way. Like, he didn't tell you this, but he told OP specifically that he doesn't really like her that much, and he's like kind of over it. So it's weird that you're saying like my best friend. Like, you stop. Don't call my husband your best friend. I mean, in certain situations that would be okay. Like, I wouldn't care if my sister was like my best friend if her and my husband were close, but in this situation it's like sounds like she's saying it maliciously. Although I obviously don't know her, but I can get the hint from the way that OP's explaining who she is as a person. Okay, But that's the last story. I was going to say episode, but I'm like, what? No. That's the last story. I'm filming this on Wednesday because tomorrow I have to get my tomorrow as in Thursday, which will be yesterday when you're watching this. I have to get a little cavity filled. It's a really small cavity, but I told you guys I was going to the dentist, but I haven't been in like a year, so honestly, that's good that I only had a tiny cavity, but I'm just hoping that I don't get any more. I feel like I'm prone to cavities because I've like always taken pretty good care. I literally floss every single day. Like maybe I used to not, okay? It's been like 4 years since I've been flossing, and I floss every single day, once a day. And I'm like, I feel like I'm prone to it because what do I do different? My boyfriend never gets cavities, and he does the same things that I do. So I ordered some TheraBreath deep cleansing mouthwash, and I'm going to do that every day because she said that I have one tooth over here that I can prevent from becoming a cavity, but if I don't floss good in there, then it will become a cavity at some point. And I don't want to get more cavities, especially because I don't have insurance right now, so I'm about to pay out of pocket to get this stupid ass cavity filled. But I also don't want to lose my teeth, so I'm grateful to be able to pay out of pocket to get this stupid ass cavity filled. I also need to schedule a gynecologist appointment, which I'm also gonna have to pay for out of pocket, but I'd rather do that than have like cancer, like pussy cancer or something. I don't know, what's it called? Ovarian cancer? Yeah, I would rather have to pay, like, probably not that much, probably under $200 to get. I feel like that's how much it was when I got it with my insurance, but obviously insurance paid for it. I could be wrong though, I don't know. But my yearly pap smear, which I've gotten 2 of, and I think that makes sense, right? You get one when you're 24. Actually, I skipped 1 year. I got one when I was 24 or 23. I think I got one when I was 23, skipped 24, and got one in 25. And now I'm 26. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's right. But, yeah. The first gynecologist that I ever went to was a man. He was an older man, like 50 probably, and everyone was like, I cannot believe you went to a man. But I really liked this guy. He was really nice. He had daughters that went to my college. He was like a Christian man, which obviously I'm Christian, whatever. I just say I'm Christian. I technically am. But yeah, and he was talking about his daughters and stuff, and, like, it's definitely weird that, like, an old man put his fingers in my vagina. Like, that's definitely weird to think about, but obviously it wasn't sexual, obviously. But it's still weird to think about, like, an old man's fingers were up my cooch, It's just, like, that doesn't happen every day. Definitely. Definitely doesn't happen every day. And then the second girl that I went to last year was an old lady. Like, she was probably like 65 or 70 years old, actually. 65 really isn't that old. She honestly looked like she was like 75, but I feel like she probably wouldn't still be working at 75, but she really looked really old, but she was cool. She was so cool, but I hate how they always ask, like, talk about birth control. And they're like, are you having unprotected sex? Or they're like, are you on birth control? And I'm like, no. And then they're like, okay, do you want to have kids? And I'm like, no. And then they're like, are you using condoms? And then you're like, sure. And then they're like, okay, well then you should go on birth control if you don't want kids. And I'm like, no, I'm not going on birth control because I don't want to, and it's a personal choice, and don't shove it in my face because I don't want birth control, and I'm never getting on birth control in my whole entire life, and no one can tell me different. So yeah, I hate when they do that too. It's so annoying because I'm against birth control. I don't like the side effects. Like I told her, I don't like the side effects. I don't like that. There's like such a long list of side effects for birth control. And obviously I know some people have to be on birth control for medical reasons, but I don't. So I prefer not to be on birth control. And she's like, there are some that don't have bad side effects. I'm like, girl, you're lying straight out of your teeth. You're lying to my face. Me to my face with my legs spread open and vulnerable. And you are lying to me. And I can't believe she would lie to me in that vulnerable position. But she did. So I don't believe that there's any birth control that don't have, like, symptoms. Or, wait, what am I saying? Symptoms? No, not symptoms. Side effects. I just don't believe it. So, and I also just I don't like being on medicine, period. Like, I already don't like being on my, I also have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. I'm going to be broke this month because these damn doctor's appointments. But I don't like being on medicine already as it is. Like, I just don't. I hate taking medicine and having to remember every day, especially 2 times a day. It's like the worst thing ever. I mean, I'm grateful that it helps me and that I can afford it, but it's just, I don't like having to remember to take something twice. If it were once, it would definitely be a lot better, but still wouldn't want to do it. Like, I don't want to be on medicine forever. I'm so scared. I'm going to actually feel like I want to talk to my doctor about that tomorrow and just be like, so, is there any possibility of me getting off this medicine anytime? And will I want to kill myself if I do? Let me know promptly. Thank you. But anyways, I'm going to go because otherwise I'm just going to sit here and ramble about random stuff that I'm thinking in my brain. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Please let me know what you think or thought about any of the stories that we read today. Or just let me know what you're drinking, doing, thinking. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I love you guys to the moon and back. Mwah.